Most men never realize that the answers they are searching for are already hidden in the way they move their bodies, breathe through pressure, and respond to stress when no one is watching. From the very first moment you ask whether exercise can improve ejaculation control, you are really asking a deeper question about mastery, patience, and self-trust. The body is not a separate machine from the mind. It is the mind's loudest voice, and every workout sends messages to the nervous system about control, endurance, and resilience. When physical activity is ignored, the nervous system becomes reactive, hormones lose rhythm, and stamina quietly erodes. When movement becomes intentional, something powerful begins to shift inside you. Inspiration drawn from the philosophy often shared by Dr. Mohit Khera reminds us that male health is not built on quick fixes, but on daily disciplines that compound over time. Exercise increases blood flow, balances testosterone, and trains the brain to tolerate intensity without panic. These changes are not accidental. They are adaptive responses that teach the body how to stay calm under stimulation. Strength training builds confidence at a cellular level, cardio trains breath and timing, and flexibility teaches relaxation where tension once lived. Together, they create a foundation where control is learned rather than forced. Many men unknowingly train their bodies for speed instead of control through sedentary habits and chronic stress. Long hours of sitting tighten the hips, weaken the pelvic muscles, and disconnect awareness from the lower body. Over time, the nervous system learns urgency instead of patience. Exercise interrupts this pattern by restoring communication between muscles and brain. Movements that engage the core and pelvic region awaken dormant pathways responsible for endurance and timing. With consistency, the body relearns how to regulate arousal instead of being overwhelmed by it. This journey is not about becoming an athlete. It is about becoming present inside your own body. Each repetition, each controlled breath, and each drop of sweat is a signal that you are rebuilding trust with yourself. The discipline of movement creates structure, and structure creates safety for the nervous system. When the body feels safe, it performs with clarity rather than urgency. This is where true stamina begins to emerge, not as resistance, but as harmony. At this point, many people feel hopeful yet uncertain, because the real challenge is not knowing what to do, but committing to doing it consistently. Progress often feels invisible at first, and doubt whispers that nothing is changing. But beneath the surface, the nervous system is adapting, hormones are recalibrating, and control is quietly being rebuilt, preparing you for a breakthrough you cannot yet see. Stay with the process, because the body always responds to respect, repetition, and patience. And when you train with intention instead of fear, you are not just exercising muscles, you are reshaping identity, restoring confidence, and laying the groundwork for control that feels natural, stable, and deeply earned through disciplined movement, practiced daily over time without shortcuts, ever. There comes a moment in every transformation when effort feels heavier than motivation, when the excitement of starting fades and the discipline of continuing becomes the true test of character. This is the point where most men quietly return to old habits, convincing themselves that exercise is helpful but not essential, beneficial but not transformative. Yet beneath that doubt lies a powerful truth that few are willing to confront. The nervous system does not change because you hope it will change. It changes because you repeatedly expose it to controlled stress and teach it that intensity does not require panic. Cardiovascular training strengthens the heart, but it also conditions the brain to manage rising arousal without losing rhythm. Strength training builds muscle, but it also develops neuromuscular coordination that improves timing and control. Pelvic-focused exercises increase endurance in the very muscles responsible for regulation, creating awareness where there was once unconscious reaction. What makes this process mysterious is that the improvement is rarely dramatic at first. There is no sudden announcement from the body declaring that control has arrived. Instead, subtle shifts begin to occur. Breathing becomes steadier under pressure. Recovery becomes faster. Confidence grows not from ego, but from evidence. The connection between testosterone, stamina, and movement starts to feel tangible. Regular resistance training can naturally support healthy testosterone levels, which influence energy, mood, and sexual resilience. Movement also reduces cortisol, the stress hormone that often accelerates premature responses. When stress decreases, clarity increases. When clarity increases, control follows. But here is the suspenseful truth that many overlook. Exercise alone is not magic. It is a catalyst. If you move without awareness, you strengthen muscles but ignore the nervous system. If you train with aggression instead of intention, you build tension rather than mastery. Real transformation occurs when exercise becomes mindful. Slow, controlled repetitions train patience. Breathwork during exertion teaches regulation. Stretching the hips and pelvic region restores elasticity and reduces chronic tightness that contributes to hypersensitivity. Each component plays a role in a larger system that must work in harmony. This is where the philosophy often emphasized by Dr. Mohit Khera becomes powerful, because it frames physical fitness not as a cosmetic pursuit, but as a neurological investment. You are not simply lifting weights or running miles. You are retraining reflexes that have been shaped by stress, inactivity, and distraction. You are teaching your body that intensity can be sustained without urgency. That lesson extends beyond the gym into every intimate moment, because the same nervous system governs both. As consistency builds, a quiet shift begins to take place. The fear of losing control starts to lose its grip. Instead of approaching intimacy with anxiety, you approach it with steadiness. You realize that stamina is not about resisting sensation, but about managing it with awareness. The suspense that once surrounded performance dissolves into preparation. You begin to understand that every workout was not only shaping your body, but also reinforcing your identity as a disciplined, patient, and capable man. And just when you start to recognize this progress, you discover that the greatest breakthrough is not physical at all, but psychological. Because true control begins in the mind before it is ever expressed through the body. The final realization arrives quietly, not as a dramatic breakthrough, but as a steady confidence that replaces the anxiety you once carried. You begin to understand that control was never something to chase in desperation, but something to cultivate through alignment. Exercise becomes more than a tool for stamina. It becomes a daily declaration that you are willing to invest in yourself. Each workout reinforces a mindset of patience, and patience is the hidden foundation of endurance. When you train your body to lift with control, to run with rhythm, and to breathe with awareness, you are rehearsing the very skills that translate into intimate resilience. The nervous system thrives on repetition, and with every intentional movement, you are programming calm into situations that once triggered urgency. Fitness also reshapes identity in a way that no quick fix ever could. A sedentary lifestyle often feeds doubt, and doubt feeds tension. Movement interrupts that cycle. Strength in the legs and core improves pelvic stability. Cardiovascular conditioning enhances circulation and oxygen delivery. Mobility work releases tightness that restricts natural function. Together, these elements support testosterone balance, nervous system regulation, and overall stamina. The body becomes more efficient, and efficiency reduces strain. When strain decreases, performance becomes smoother and more sustainable. This is not about perfection, it is about progression. Small improvements accumulate, and those improvements compound into noticeable change. Encouraging movement-based solutions alongside therapy creates a balanced strategy for long-term success. Exercise builds the physical and neurological foundation, while therapeutic guidance addresses psychological patterns that may contribute to premature responses. The combination strengthens both body and mind, ensuring that progress is comprehensive rather than temporary. Inspired by principles often emphasized by Dr. Mohit Khera, this approach respects science, discipline, and personal responsibility. It reminds you that improvement is possible when you treat your health as a system instead of isolating one symptom. Over time, the suspense that once surrounded your performance transforms into anticipation rooted in preparation. You no longer fear intensity because you have trained for it. You no longer rush because your breathing anchors you. You no longer question your capacity because your actions have provided proof. Confidence built through movement feels different from empty reassurance. It is grounded, earned, and stable. The journey may not be instant, but it is reliable. Every drop of sweat becomes evidence that you are strengthening more than muscle. You are strengthening discipline, awareness, and self-control. The question that began this journey was simple. Can exercise improve ejaculation control? The answer reveals itself through experience rather than theory. Yes, movement enhances testosterone, stamina, and pelvic health. Yes, it trains the nervous system to tolerate stimulation without panic. Most importantly, it transforms how you see yourself. When you commit to consistent training, you are declaring that your health deserves effort. That declaration reshapes your future.